They scoffed when billionaire Nathaniel West, diagnosed with only 3 months to live, adopted 5 boys from the streets. What they didn't realize was that fate had quietly reset the course of history. The manila envelope sat on Nathaniel's obsidian desk like an omen. The moment he had avoided, denied, outpaced with work, scotch, and silence was now in front of him in black ink on white paper. Through the floor-to-ceiling windows of his 57th floor Manhattan office, the city sparkled as always, blissfully unaware that the man who had shaped economies was reckoning with the only force he couldn't outmaneuver. 3 months, he whispered to no one. The words had weight. They sank into the walls of that office lined with Picassos and antique weapons, things that once made him feel invincible. At 59, Nathaniel West had outlived rivals, buried 2 governments in scandal, built a corporate empire with his name etched across 9 nations, and amassed a fortune that made monarchs blink. And now he was dying. He loosened his tie, poured himself a rare scotch that tasted of ancient oak and impending death, and stared at the envelope again. What legacy, he muttered aloud. There were no children. No one to carry the West name, but distant cousins he couldn't name. His wife, Elaine, had died 5 years earlier, same illness. He'd never had time for family. Never made room for vulnerability. Never allowed himself to need anyone. He had succeeded. Brilliantly. Tragically. The silence pressed against him. His mind reeled back to his roots in a rundown Bronx tenement. A single mother working herself ragged. A scholarship. A mission. And a promise never to be that vulnerable boy again. His phone vibrated with another board meeting request. More millions to manage. More hollow winds to gather. He pressed a button, declined the meeting, stood, and stared out at the ant-sized people on the sidewalk below. How many of them were rushing home to be greeted by someone? How many had someone waiting? That night, he left a charity gala early, the murmurs about his health chasing him out the door like shadows. The pitying smiles, the speculative glances, the journalists circling like vultures. Turn right here, he instructed James, his driver. I need air. Sir, it's not a great area. I said turn. Minutes later, he stepped out into a cold December alley off Lexington. That's where he saw them 5 boys, curled up together under newspaper and tarp. The oldest looked 15. The youngest? Maybe 7. They didn't run. They watched him like he was a trap. Relax, he said, raising his palms. I'm not a cop. The oldest boy stepped forward, shielding the others instinctively. We ain't doing nothing illegal. I'm sure you're not. Just. Cole. There was a pause. The boy didn't blink. You a social worker? No, Nathaniel chuckled. Far worse. I'm a capitalist. The boy didn't laugh. What do you want? To know your names. Silence. Then, I'm Mason. These are Jordan and Jacob. He pointed to twin boys, about 13. That's Leo, he said, indicating a wiry 11-year-old sketching something with a stick in the snow. And that's Caleb. The youngest Cale peeked from under his blanket with enormous eyes. No one spoke for a beat. It's going to snow tonight, Nathaniel said. I have room. Clean beds. Warm food. Just tonight. The boys murmured amongst themselves. Finally, Mason answered. One night. We stay together. We leave when we want. Deal. They entered his penthouse like survivors walking into a dream. The silence was thick with awe. The foyer alone could house all 5 of them with space to spare. Nathaniel pointed toward the kitchen, the bedrooms, the showers. Use anything. I'll be in the study. Why? Caleb's voice stopped him. Why what? Why are you doing this? Nathaniel stared at him for a moment, then simply said, Because I can. But even as he retreated to his study, he realized that something inside him, something dormant for years, had flickered back to life. 3 days later, his longtime attorney, Bernard Strickland, nearly dropped his coffee. Adoption, Bernard hissed. All 5. Nate, in your condition. Temporary guardianship, maybe. But this. I'm not asking for your opinion. I'm giving you instructions. But process the paperwork. Each boy showed signs of brilliance. The twins could take apart and rebuild electronics with eerie precision. Leo sketched with a talent that no street kid should have had time to develop. Mason analyzed everything: body language, escape routes, social dynamics. And Caleb, the smallest, read books beyond his age and noticed everything. On day 4, Nathaniel caught Caleb picking the lock to his study. "What are you doing?" he snapped. Caleb jumped. I wanted to see your books." "You could have asked. Adults don't usually say yes to me." Nathaniel stared at him, then opened the door. "Well, I'm saying yes now." From that moment on, the boys became a part of his world, no longer guests, but family. Dinner arguments, broken vases, laughter echoing down marble halls. A home, not just a house. One night, during an impromptu dinner dispute, Leo pushed away a plate of salmon. "I'm not eating this." "You'll eat what's served," Nathaniel snapped. "We didn't ask to be here," Mason countered. "You're here. Clean. Fed. Safe. That counts for something." Silence. Then Caleb's quiet voice. "Last time someone gave us food, they called the cops after we fell asleep." Nathaniel set down his fork. "That won't happen here. I promise." "We know you're sick," Caleb added, eyes steady. "You need us more than we need you." "How do you?" "Medicine cabinet. The way you move. The files you hide." The others looked away, uncomfortable but unsurprised. "Is that why you stayed?" Nathaniel asked softly. Mason replied, "We stayed because you're the first person who didn't want something from you, even if it's just because you're dying." Nathaniel laughed for the first time in months. "Well, at least we're being honest." Then came the media storm. "Billionaire adopts 5 orphans before death," ran the headlines. The board of West Global called emergency meetings. Shareholders panicked. He ignored them. Instead, he took the boys to a high-profile benefit for the Children's Hospital. Dressed in sharp suits, they walked beside him through the Waldorf Astoria. The crowd parted, gasping and whispering. Curtis Bellamy, his longtime rival, approached with a smirk. "Nathaniel, I see you brought your charity project." "They're my sons, Curtis." "Are they now?" Curtis turned to Mason. "Learned anything worth stealing yet, kid?" Mason stepped forward. "Actually, yes. Your company's Q4 leverage ratio suggests a liquidity crisis in 6 months." Curtis turned red. "Watch your mouth, street rat." Jacob and Jordan stepped forward, fists clenched. Nathaniel raised a hand. "Let's go, boys." As they walked out, Caleb turned to the stunned ballroom. "You all think we're using him because he's dying. But where were you when he got sick?" Silence. In the limo, Nathaniel looked at them. "Do you care what they think?" Mason answered, "We care what you think." "Then it's us against them," Jordan said. "And we're not losing." That night, Nathaniel made a decision. They would change the rules. He hired etiquette coaches, tutors, and specialists. The boys learned economics, social graces, market trends. And they thrived. The twins built an encryption system for the house. Leo designed furniture for his own room. Caleb immersed himself in medical journals. One night, Nathaniel found them in the library at 3 a.m. planning his treatment. Caleb explained the new protocols. Mason outlined a funding strategy. The twins designed delivery systems. Leo drafted medical equipment diagrams. "You're trying to save me?" "You gave us a chance," Mason said. "We're giving one back." Nathaniel's eyes stung. "Show me." The West Mansion became a fortress. Security was upgraded. Treatment began. The algorithm the twins developed beat Wall Street's best models. Ethan, formerly Mason, took over meetings. When Nathaniel collapsed, the boys ran everything. When Curtis tried a hostile takeover, the boys revealed their trap. The data Curtis had stolen was fake. The real algorithm was already revolutionizing West Global's portfolio. Then they made their offer. "You want help?" Ethan asked Curtis in a boardroom full of collapsing executives. "Then meet our terms: board seats for educators, funding for street outreach, apprenticeships, research dollars." "Are you insane?" one CEO gasped. "No," Caleb said quietly. "Just better than you expected." The deals were signed. The world took notice. And 1 year after his diagnosis, Nathaniel stood at a podium beside his sons, now legally and emotionally his family. "Legacy," he said, "is not what you leave behind. It's who you raise to take it forward." The Morgan Protocol saved thousands. The West Foundation for Innovation and Youth changed the futures of millions. And Nathaniel West, the man who thought he had 3 months left, got something far greater than time. He got a reason to live.